Venezuela's opposition says it will attend talks with the government of President Nicolas Maduro, with which it has been at loggerheads for a long time. The talks will take place in the Dominican Republic. Despite agreeing to take part in the negotiations, the Venezuelan opposition says it will protest Maduro's, quote, totalitarian vision. The two sides are divided over a range of issues. The opposition coalition has said it will attend Monday's meeting and demand electoral guarantees. It's still premature to say if they will reach a compromise, as divisions between them are too deep. Tensions between Maduro and his opponents have been rising over the past months, with neither side showing signs of retreating from its position.
I think that the United States and the other countries that are members of NATO, who are deeply involved in trying to do something about changing the government regime change in Venezuela, don't want Maduro to continue, and they want him out, and they will back the opposition, and to whatever extent is possible to depict Maduro and his supporters as anti-democrats, as tyrants, as demagogues, etc.
Amidst the crisis in Venezuela, another crisis has brewed between this country and Spain. Caracas has accused Madrid of interfering in its internal affairs. This after the Spanish government condemned what it described as rights violations in Venezuela and the EU, of which Madrid is a member, and slapped sanctions on the Latin American nation. Maduro has accused Spain's Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy of taking orders from US President Donald Trump during a meeting in September to push for EU sanctions. Spain and Venezuela have kicked out each other's ambassadors amid an escalation of diplomatic tensions. Venezuela has also criticized France after President Emmanuel Macron called for imposing tougher sanctions against Caracas. Macron said there is no sign of progress from Maduro and called for efforts to help, quote, restore democracy in Venezuela.
Macron, like the Spaniards, is trying to help the Americans overthrow the legitimate government of Venezuela. Macron has said that Venezuela is not a democratic state. Macron has called for stricter and tougher sanctions on Venezuela in the hope that there will be regime change. That's the whole thing. The Europeans are doing the American bidding and trying to give the impression that it's a worldwide effort to bring democracy when Venezuela, when in fact it's the opposite. The worldwide effort led by Macron in France and Rajoy in Spain and their American masters in Washington to get rid of the government in Venezuela because it's a socialist government, because it doesn't toe the American line on foreign policy.
The concerted push for punitive measures against Venezuela has failed to bring Maduro into line, as the Europeans and the US expect. Maduro, whose country is facing an economic crisis, blames what he calls international economic sabotage for the problem. He says, above all, the US and Spain are to blame. Last week he told his supporters at a rally, quote, Donald Trump won't make decisions in Venezuela. Mariano Rajoy won't make decisions in Venezuela. The people of Venezuela will, unquote. He has said he will run for re-election in the presidential vote later this year.